1 out of 10. 1 to 10. So what would you give?
It's funny because it sounds like I just creamed my pants, and then I'm like, it's like a 7.
Welcome to Nerdentials, your weekly dose of the nerdy essentials covering film, TV, video games, and comic books. I'm your host, Joe Tweeden, and tonight's a special night, my friends, or morning or evening, depending on when you're watching this. Rest assured, I have no clue, but we always record at night, so that's what I default to. That being said, we have a full crew tonight, if you will, a full round table. Across the Ethernet, at least. My co-host and compatriot of Nerdentials right now is the Nick Thomas. How goes it, sir?
Not so dry. I'm kind of moist, actually.
Well, wet your palate quickly. I've got a couple more faces to introduce. So, off to the side here, or left or right, I'm not sure where in the 4 boxes you're going to be, sir, but I'd like to welcome back a long time, many years running good friend of mine, one of the oldest hosts on this channel itself. I have coming back to us tonight, the Paul Roman, sir.
Hello everyone.
Dude.
Fun fact, wearing the same beanie that I was wearing in the OG YouTube videos. Still have the same beanie.
And you know what? Due to editing powers that be, I will show a clip right now showcasing that very episode. Hopefully. I hope you weren't lying, Paul. It's going to make me look real stupid right now. I'm sorry, Nick.
It's good to know the bleach didn't get you.
We made a joke about bleach last episode, Paul. I hope you remember that.
Oh, trust me. I remember that.
You remember? All right. We'll reference it at a later time.
Crystal clear.
It's, oh boy. And guys, we, like I said in the last episode, episode 97, welcome to podcast episode 98, guys. We are going through, right now it's me and Nick and Matt, Lord willing, but we are going through a rotating cast more frequently going forward, and tonight is another new guest, not the same as last week. We have a good friend of Nick. Nick has known him for quite some time, and he does a lot of gaming and a lot of streaming now. We have Ryan Kuhn entering the fold. Welcome, sir. How are you tonight?
I'm doing fantastic. Very fantastic indeed. And I've been enjoying the Twitch life, I gotta say, and I appreciate you coming in and hanging out every once in a while, you know?
Dude, absolutely.
I'm glad to be here with you guys.
Your streams are very relaxing and sometimes entertaining. I gotta say, you have a very active chat that's going on lately, for sure.
Yeah, they're fucking nuts.
Yeah. So, here's the thing. Here's the new cast. Before we dive into tonight, we do have a regular variety episode. Lord willing, we're going to touch a little bit of film, a little bit of TV, and a little bit of video game in episode 98. But before we do that, I'm just going to pass the mic around to a couple unfamiliar faces to anyone new to the channel. So
It might be a little hard.
Hard?
To pass the mic.
Yeah, I know. You know what? That's okay. You know what's cool about our channel is we've been practicing social distancing for 4 years before any of this crap happened. Am I right? Anyway.
We're pioneers.
It's all funny.
We're pioneers. That's right, Paul. So I'd like to pass it off to our oldest member of the crew. Paul, first off, I miss you, dude. Welcome back.
I missed you as well. Thank you. Thank you for having me back.
Oh, absolutely, dude. It was nice to reconnect off air even, and we're going to have a lot of fun tonight. Mm-hmm. Just give a quick little introduction on who you were when you started with this and what you're into now. And that includes shameless plugging of what you're doing now, dude. Go for it. So what are you up to?
Oh, where was I 4 years ago? 4 years ago, I was young. I was naive. I had the world right in front of me. Oh, you're talking about like entertainment wise and like
You
talking
right
on
now
podcasts. Yeah, right,
and before.
right.
Yeah.
Well, about 4 years ago, I was doing this little Nerdentials thing, hanging out doing that. And then life happens and people stop talking. It's just life. And now coming back doing this in my free time, I've been I don't know, I've been just doing dumb stuff on the internet. That's the best way to put it. Like sometimes I stream just weird shit on Twitch that I find on YouTube, like old movies, old radio programs. I'll just
Like
stream those
commentary.
for a couple of hours. Yeah, do commentaries, chat with people if anyone comes in. It's a real laid back environment, just hanging out in the scary good movies area.
Real quick, what's
That's
scary good movies right now for you? What's that all about?
uh right now I'm like testing stuff out, basically. Kind of seeing what happens with it, trying to like plant little seeds and stuff like that. And then the upcoming year, I'm going to be rolling out podcasts with different guests and things like that. Try and do more YouTube stuff. Try and get my Discord server going, things like that. Try and do the starving content creator thing.
Right on, dude.
Oh, and then I got
Yeah.
writing that I do as well. I also write.
Yes, you are a writer, and I'm gonna save additional plugs definitely for the end of the episode, Paul. But that was an excellent introduction, sir.
Thanks.
And anyone that's curious about his scary good movie movement, we'll put links down below to whatever he's involved with. Real quick before we get into much love, dude. Before we get any further into the episode, I'm going to throw it over to our newest face here on the podcast, Ryan Kuhn. Sir, just give us a little bit of brief background on what you grew up loving, like the whole nerd side of things. Paul talked about film. I know you're streaming, so kind of give us a quick lowdown of what you are and what you're currently doing.
So, back in 1998, my dad went to Blockbuster Video. I know. That relic of a place. He went there. And he brought back my favorite video game of all time. He brought back Resident Evil 2. And it instantly hooked me into survival horror. And since then, I've just played every single thing I could get my hands on. Horror, adventure games, Zelda, just anything I can get into. Like, it really cemented that love of video games for me. So you fast forward about 22 years now, I'm 27, and here I am playing on Twitch, Kuhn Cannon at Twitch TV. Well, put that around the other way, but you know what I mean. And streaming the remake of my favorite game. Yeah.
So right now you're a regular streamer, and I heard you just became an affiliate, yeah?
Yeah, I hit an affiliate after my first month, thanks to some really good friends of mine in my chat. Some of the people that make that really electric craziness. Like, if it weren't for them, I would not be where I'm at now. So just all the immense love and support I've gotten doing the thing I love has really propelled me forward.
Dude, if you
It's
want,
been great.
You're welcome to shout them out as someone that supported you.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Residents of Evil has a member named Corey. It's Corey from Row.
Oh,
yeah,
dude, I've actually watched
follower of
Residents of
theirs.
Evil, not having known you at all before, dude. That's cool.
I'm the
Right
guy
on.
that sends all the one of the guys that sends all the super chats. I've been with them since they had 200 followers. Now they have 200,000.
Wow, right on, dude. Dang.
Yeah, and Corey from Row, he's been immensely supportive as a friend, and I barely know the guy. And then it's Hachi. She's been immensely supportive, and Cherry Pie, and there's a Snow Globe and Yonko. They're fantastic as well. When this gets published, I'll go into the comments and tag them all. So,
Yeah, dude. Yeah, absolutely. That's cool, dude.
I love them all. They're amazing.
All right, guys. So that's gonna cover our introductions for now. Very quick.
I'm so excited.
Sorry.
Sorry.
No, dude.
I had to get it out.
That's all good. I'm excited to get these faces on. It's it's been a long time since we've gotten fresh faces in, or old faces for that matter. And all that being said, though, a very quick house clipping for Nerdentials here. Right now, guys, I am sad to say we are temporarily down on the podcast front audio-wise, but keep coming back here on YouTube to keep up. We're going to weekly, and we will get that back up very quickly. And in between the weekly podcasts, we do have a consistent gaming repertoire of videos, walkthroughs, and first looks popping up daily on the channel. Right now, we're seeing some steady growth, and we are going to keep pushing the content out to you guys. So, YouTube, Nerdentials, look it up. There we are. Secondly, if you want to hit us up on Twitter or Facebook, I try to keep up regular posts on Facebook, and I'm trying to get back on Instagram. And for everything else, once I get it back up, I'm just going to shout it out now. Nerdentialsmedia.com, guys. Go check that out. We have reviews. The podcast itself, which, like I said, will go back live very quickly here. By the time you guys hear this, I should have it back up and running, and YouTube for everything else. So, that takes care of all the housekeeping, guys. Let's jump into our variety show tonight, episode 98. We are going to hit up Movie Matters first, and Paul's going to lead that charge. So, guys, without further ado, let's jump into Movie Matters.
Hi there, folks. This is Paul Roman, and I'm back here once again, first time in like 4 years, to the Nerdentials Movie Matters universe. Oh!
I'll put a cheer in there for you. Don't worry.
I appreciate that. Since these last 4 years, I've watched a lot of movies. I'm not going to talk about 99.9% of them. I just wanted to brag that I've watched a lot of movies. Especially because I'm not dating anyone. I don't have anyone in my life. I'm unemployed, but in a single day, I watched 6 Coen Brothers films.
Holy crap.
Who's living their best life? That's right.
So you heard, ladies, he is single.
And we're back.
Oh, shit.
Nice touch.
Thank you. I actually did want to talk about a couple of different movies that just came out recently on Amazon Prime and on Netflix.
Hello
Nick,
Kitty
you're so
Island
excited. Which one?
Hello Kitty
Kitty.
Island Adventures.
I love that one.
I didn't even know there was a new Hello Kitty.
Hello Kitty Island Adventures. is a
Hold
game,
on.
too.
We have a revelation here,
Oh my
Paul.
goodness.
Paul, we have a revelation here. Matt's not here,
So,
like he always isn't when we reference this film. Nick brings it up, and Ryan is actually excited for it. Damn it! We have a new host here tonight, and still no Matt. I'm very upset. This is a long-running inside joke with our show.
oh man, that's wonderful.
I
Oh,
think
my
last reference
It's
was 3 years
permeated
ago.
itself into our personal life as well as friends.
That's fantastic.
Obviously.
That's so fantastic. What was I saying? I was saying about some movies that just came out. One's on Amazon, and that's called The Sound of Metal. And then the other one is called Mank. And I'm going to talk about Mank first. Is anyone here a David Fincher fan? Alien 3, which he
that
disowned.
looks awesome.
7.
7, always. The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, The Social Network, Fight Club.
Zodiac.
So
Yes.
it takes place
yeah.
in the 1930s? I just looked it up.
Yes, it's about Herman Mankiewicz. Herman Mankiewicz was like the it writer for quite a while in the 1930s. He actually produced and wrote uncredited. He didn't get credit for what he wrote, but he worked on Duck Soup, which is considered to be one of the best Marx Brothers films. So he wrote he wrote a bunch of different kinds of stuff. He has like 100 and some credits, I think it is, on IMDb. It's huge.
Dude,
I
I love.
I'm
Anyway.
gonna have to watch this just because that's Gary Oldman.
Yeah.
I
No,
love.
I just looked at it too.
I love your old Hollywood film references, like because, well, first off, that's the epitome of you, and what you love, but also anytime there's a film about it, that's what you watch, dude. Go on. Sorry.
It's
I
true.
love it.
So it's about how the film Citizen Kane came to be written. And for those of you who don't know, Citizen Kane was directed by Orson Welles, and he has a co-writing credit, and it's considered by the American Film Institute
Number
to
one.
be the best film. Yep, the best film ever made.
Top 100.
Personally,
yeah.
it's boring, and this is I'm a movie fan. It's boring and all that, but you gotta give it props. It's one of the most incredible films because you gotta realize like the size of the cameras and the stuff they were doing.
You understand the weight.
I could go on and on.
No,
Yeah,
I love
just
this.
like
I
the
love this.
way.
Yeah, you understand
that,
the weight of where it came from, the
films were
roots.
made.
Yeah.
And so this is about how that kind of came to be in a stylized fashion. Gary Oldman plays Herman Mankiewicz, the lead character, and it was written by David Fincher, or no, written by
Jack.
Oh God,
Jack Fincher.
Jack Fincher. Thank you. I was just about to.
Yeah.
Thank you. Fact check. Live action. It's great. Jack Fincher. Frank Fincher. I don't know who Frank Fincher is, but whoever he is, he's on my mind. But Jack Fincher is David Fincher's father.
I was going to say the
And
backstory must have been about it because it's, sorry, fact checking again. He passed away in 2003. So is this like some old work of his then?
He wrote it in 1990, and David Fincher was originally set to direct it after he did The Game with Michael Douglas.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But the studio didn't want to invest in a black and white film. And he insisted on shooting in black and white.
It's funny. It didn't cost extra to do it back then.
I know. Would have been cheaper, but they didn't think it would have made money.
Yeah.
It's because so David Fincher directed it. I should have written notes so I could have organized.
Oh,
this
dude, you're fine. You're fine.
Super scattershot. I'm just like pulling tidbits out of my brain right now.
Hey, dude,
like,
I love this, man.
Well, thank you,
Paul.
Just your energy here. It's fantastic. I love that, like that nerdy excitement for one thing, like that pure passion for film. Like I get that. I understand exactly how that feels.
Cheers.
Maybe not to the same extent as you, but like it's just a great feeling when you know you're just talking about something you love and people are around you. Like it's like, this is it. This is the shit. You can bleep that out.
No,
Oh, yeah.
sure, but no,
okay.
I appreciate
Shit's
the
actually
back.
fine. It doesn't have to be bleep.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the back and forth here, because this is one of the reasons I love Paul is for this very reason. But also, like, yeah, I mean, notes would have made you a little more structured, but dude, that's what I try to do as the lead host for you, dude. I've got IMDb in front of me the whole time, looking for any moment that I can insert something because I'm not a genius when it comes to film, nor do I have the background library in my brain like you do. So that being said, much love across the table to you, Paul. So keep going, dude.
All right. So David Fincher directed this movie. David Fincher is one of the most notorious iron-fisted dudes on a film set. In Mank, his newest film, Gary Oldman has a walking monologue around this gigantic rich guy table. They did over 100 takes of that scene. 100 takes. For reference, Stanley Kubrick, the baseball scene in The Shining, that was 129 takes, and that drove Shelley Duvall to insanity, pretty much.
Because they're like,
Shelley Duvall. So yeah.
Wow.
And this is a
100
walking
takes
monologue, so it's a long potential take, and any mistake, he was like, nope, do it again.
And the thing, it's Gary Oldman, man. You think Gary Oldman is making stupid mistakes?
No. That's the thing, is like, yeah, he's not perfect.
Gary Oldman. Like, Gary Oldman's one of the best living actors of our generation. And so he's not making stupid mistakes. So he needed it to be perfect. And this is just the kind of thing he does. It's like when he started shooting on digital, he started being able to manipulate like every little bit. Like we give George Lucas shit for changing like the direction that someone was looking in a scene.
Yeah.
But Fincher is like is just as bad as that. But the thing is, his come out so much better, and you just don't realize it.
Some of it has to do with
he's a-
editing, right? I mean, you imagine George Lucas tried to edit 90%. Well, not all of it, but like, how does David Fincher sit in the editing room? To your
Oh
knowledge?
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
He's a control freak.
Yeah, I wouldn't
He's
doubt
an
it.
absolute control freak. But I mean, he makes some of the best movies out there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, geez Louise, some of the best movies out there. That's all him. So Mank is, it's good. Like just like the talent attached to it, you're not going into a bad film. And the amazing part about it is the attention to detail that David Fincher is able to put into his films, and just like little touches. For example, he uses the same composers, Trent Reznor of Nine Inch Nails and Atticus Ross. They have scored all of his films since The Social Network, and they usually have very ambient, electronic, ethereal type of music.
Yeah.
In this one, they used era-accurate instruments and recording devices. So like microphones from the 1930s, they recorded the music on that. And they actually had like a film score. And then not only that, most films now, 7.1, Atmos, 5.1 at the very least.
Yeah.
Mank is all mono.
Monotone. Okay.
I want to see this.
That's
all
gotta be
sound.
interesting. Oh,
No,
that's
it's
to
a-
simulate the
movie.
night. That simulate the period. Probably. Yeah.
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 It's not. I mean, because it just represents the period, because that's
Yeah.
how the film would have been shot then.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
all of that said, it doesn't feel like a David Fincher film, like because it's so different than everything else he's done. I genuinely think it's like the best Woody Allen movie in years. Like this, it feels like a Woody Allen film. Like if you take like
Yeah.
Stardust Memories or Manhattan, like 1970s, early 1980s Woody Allen,
Yeah.
and you stack it against this, you're like, holy shit, David Fincher just made the best Woody Allen movie in decades, man. Decades. Woody Allen can't even make movies this good anymore. I'm giving you a lot of things to believe because I'm feeling
No,
it.
dude, you feel it, dude.
Nice.
I miss you so much. You feel it. Hey, quick
Oh.
question. Quick question.
Oh.
So go ahead, Nick.
Paul, with the praise you're giving it and stuff, I was actually looking at this. It's got a cast that brings some weight behind it too. Like you said, Gary Oldman, Lily Collins, Amanda Seyfried,
Ooh.
Charles Dance. Oh,
And the
Amanda
head
Seyfried.
Lannister.
Oh,
He's not the head Lannister. I always forget.
It's
He
funny,
looks like
Nick.
the dude who plays Tywin.
Nick, we're on the same
He
page.
was.
We're on the same
Oh, he
page
is
because I was
Tywin?
looking.
Yeah.
What? Sorry, I'm talking over you guys.
Oh damn!
What? I can hear it in editing later because I can mute myself. But what did you guys say for the sake of me?
he
I
made a
didn't hear it.
connection. Charles Dance was the head of the Lannister family.
Yeah, he was Tywin
Oh.
Lannister.
Oh, yeah,
I know
okay.
him from Alien 3, which was also
Okay.
directed by David Fincher. So it's the second time that Charles Dance has worked with David Fincher.
Oh, okay. That's a nice connection.
Also, coincidentally, David Fincher never works with the same writer twice.
Huh.
Oh, that's like
And he,
that's his
and
that's
he
intentional.
usually works with unknown or starting out writers. The exception to that is Curious Case of Benjamin Button, where he got a very established writer for that film.
Yeah. All right.
Alright.
Yeah,
I
that's
love
different.
David Fincher,
That's
man.
cool.
I went on this huge Fincher kick before Mank came out. Like I rewatched Alien 3, I rewatched The Game, I rewatched Seven. I have Seven on VHS and
What's in the
DVD.
box?
I love that movie.
Stop
I love
quoting
that
the
fucking
one
movie,
quote.
man.
Damn it.
It's
There's
the best
so
quote.
many-
There's so many good quotes.
in it.
But that one there's
just
the most
detective,
popular.
Detective. Like it's really a shame that Kevin Spacey is such a piece of shit because
It
he's
sucks.
such a good
Yeah.
piece of shit in that movie.
Dude, he's the best piece. Like if I could cast a bad guy,
There
it
was
would
a,
be him and Gary Oldman together as the bad guy.
Oh,
there's a
dude.
reason he pulls it off so well, and that sucks.
He's just a
It's
shitty
it's
dude.
great and it sucks. Yeah. Now that we got that out of the way.
So like, I rewatched like all the David Fincher movies. I watched in YouTube analysis videos breaking down how he makes his films. Like I just like injecting it into my veins.
You put an IV of David Finch into you. Damn.
Yeah.
So Paul, to keep us rolling, I like the review on it. What would you give this rating wise?
We're doing 1 out of 10,
it-
1 to 10. So what would you
It's
give?
funny because it sounds like I just creamed my pants, and then I'm like, it's like a 7.
No,
Okay.
I understand why though.
Give us the-
You're more
Hold on.
excited about the stuff behind it. You're not excited about the whole movie itself. It's the thought that went into it. The
passion of the director
production
himself.
mind
process.
behind it.
The problem with the film is that it lacks a central heart. Like it really feels kind of like it feels masturbatory. It's like, look how great I am. Netflix gave me a blank check. I'm David Fincher. Look at me. Exactly. Like I am Fincher. Like he's just jizzing all over the screen and just being like, isn't it amazing? And you're like, it is. But man, it's just missing something.
It wasn't the best. Ugh.
You don't get emotionally invested in the characters because you don't ever get a moment to really get invested in them because they're all they're shitty rich people from the 1930s. You know.
Yeah.
That was Hollywood.
I got to see this movie though.
You do.
I got to see this movie.
Like you got to watch it.
I love the 30s and 40s.
Is that true though? You give it a solid 7 on your personal scale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I give it a solid 7.
So a strong recommendation. It's not gold, but it's a need to see.
Yeah, I feel like to the average film goer, they're going to be way more blown away by it.
Okay.
And then like someone like me and other people who like just kind of like eat, breathe, and poop this kind of stuff, you know.
From what I've seen from Paul in the past, if you have a rating from 1 to 10, anything over a 4 from Paul is worth watching because everyone's going to like it because he's super critical, and that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, well, and he's got Paul. You got unique taste too. Like,
I do. I mean, I like everything. I like shitty, terrible B movies.
And I'm up there too, dude. I love B movie horror, B movie sci-fi, but you also
favorite actor will always be Bruce Campbell.
He's great.
Paul...
Ron Perlman for me. I love Ron Perlman.
Hey, real quick, before we segue to anything else, Paul, I'm perfectly fine with doing one topic per segment since we're doing a variety show and we're already like half hour into that. Are you cool with coming back with some of those other topics or those other titles?
Yeah, no, dude. Like, I wasn't expecting to get that into it. Like,
I know. Well, it was awesome because it was organic and natural for you, dude, and that's great. That's what we want.
Yeah, no, I was going to say that. Like, I don't need to talk about Sound of Metal and stuff like that. Like, just the Mank thing is. I think that's
big
good.
for dude.
So, Paul, we're just gonna have you back to do Sound of Metal.
Yeah, I mean, I'll watch it.
I want to know more about that.
I might not even want to. I can give you a quick rundown of Sound of Metal. Watch the Sound of Metal.
It's on Amazon, you said, right?
Yes.
All right,
I'll check it out tomorrow.
That's where you're gonna get your emotional heart. And the thing that I really liked about Sound of Metal was that it had the opportunity to get really melodramatic and schmaltzy, and it didn't. Mm-hmm.
All right.
It's about a drummer who loses his hearing and has to come to terms with
it. I love the word. No, not many people use schmaltzy. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Classic. So, this is great because I'll probably keep that in anyway. And if you want to go deeper into it later or on another time, we can do that still. But I'll throw that in there just as a side note because it makes a perfect segue since it is an Amazon Prime title. We're about to get nasty and dirty talking about another great original product on Amazon Prime. So
actually, before you go there real quick, guys, if you want to hear Paul do a rant on the Sound of Metal, please leave us a comment in the comments below and let us know.
I'm going to comment like 30 times.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good.
I'm thinking, yeah. All right. Thanks for that.
I want this. It was time to switch up.
Clearly time.
So I could stop looking at my hair.
Okay. Now it's time we talk about boys.
We talk
like-
about the boys.
Oh.
Let's
I
do
like
this.
boys.
Oh,
I like
I like
boys.
boys.
talk about the boys.
I like boys.
You
Do
like
you
boys?
like boys?
I love boys.
Nick,
My
I
favorite-
Nick,
one is my
hold on.
favorite.
I just gotta tell Nick that I didn't for even 1 second think about pulling on someone like Jeff Barry or Paul Roman to talk about the boys and not have some sort of connotation to pedophilia.
I'm not talking of small boys. I am just talking of boys in
Like
general.
the boys, yes.
Boys.
I like the boys.
I like the
I
boys.
get it.
It
I
helps.
like
It
boys
helps
too.
with your European, Eastern, Russian. It helps.
It does not hurt that one does like breast milk.
It does not hurt.
Yes, no. Breast milk it makes you
Breast milk
man.
is sweet. It's
Makes
gentle
boy
milky.
into man.
Well, guys, now that we're done with film, I think now is a good time as any to transition to TV talk. Welcome to TV Talk, guys. We are back in the fold in a new topic, and the great part about this is we're going to unfold, unfurl, and if you will, go deep into the details about a show that all of us find enjoyable, I think maybe even a little titillating, if you will. Are you hearing all the euphemisms here? You will once you see the title of the screenshot of the episode you clicked on. Lord knows, here we are. It's TV Talk. We're talking streaming. We'll get to news later. I did have some topics about news, and how the streaming industry is going to get a lot more expensive later, but we'll cover that next week. For now, guys, I think it's time we reviewed another Amazon Prime original. I know we just got off that high horse. Now we're back on it. The Little Pony said, "Nay," and I'm done with all these stupid puns. We are talking about The Boys Season 2. Now, on this channel, we have covered fully Season 1. I am behind the times, my friends. If you've noticed on the channel, I've been pumping out gaming content left and right. So, far be it from me to lead this table talk. I'm going to pass it off to these three gents. I'm going to give Nick the leading role here and let him facilitate the conversation regarding The Boys. Nicholas, I pass it off to you, sir.
Yeah. Season 2, we're back with Billy Butcher, and Carl Urban is the only person that could ever play as Billy Butcher. And the boys in their never-ending quest to bring down the seven,
The soups.
And all soups.
and all soups in general that are using their powers to their advantage. This series, the first season I watched, I loved it for all the wrong reasons. It was funny, it was visceral and completely shocking at times, but they knew how to set the hook, and the second season did not disappoint.
So let me put a pin on your board. I would just like everyone at the table that did experience Season 1 to just give us a 10-20 second hot take of Season 1. Paul smiled quite a bit. I know Ryan did too. Nick, you're leading this. Give us the hot take. The hot take of it is, you kind of already did that. You were sort of segueing. I just want a quick hot take from everyone at the table.
Yeah, Season 1, it was refreshing seeing a show that addressed the darker side of superheroes in this time and era where we get nothing but superhero this, superhero that, and this not only touched the darker side of it, but also touched the human affected side.
The question: what if soups were real, and had no moral compass? Yeah. Say, let me, Paul. Hot take right now.
First season, I loved it.
On the spot. Nick loved it.
I think The Boys is everything that Warner Brothers thought they were making with the Snyderverse.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude.
Like,
Dude, that's good.
The dark take.
If the Snyderverse had worked, it would have looked like The Boys. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, The Boys is the better version of that.
Much better.
And I'm saying, I love the Snyderverse. I'm just throwing that out there. I personally love it.
Same Z's.
This is what they thought they were going to be getting.
Yeah. So my take on The Boys season 1. My take is it blew me out of the freaking water. As soon as I got it, like I was already a fan of the comics. And even though they've strayed far, they've kept true enough to it. I mean, I can't say they strayed too far, but they've kept so true to like the main idea of how each of these characters are, especially Homelander. Like, I love Homelander. You don't need anyone other than Homelander. Homelander could take out the Seven if he wanted to. He just needs Queen Maeve to keep him, on the level. But blew me out of the water. Loved that show. I could not recommend it enough for people. Just the opening pilot was enough to grip me into the rest of the season. I binged it all in one day. Loved it.
Would you agree with me that being someone that read the comic books, Carl Urban's portrayal of Billy Butcher is like they ripped him out of the pages?
I would agree, but I would change one thing. And even though Carl Urban looks fantastic with a beard, Billy the Butcher does not have one in the comics, and I think Carl Urban's already handsome enough to not need the beard in the first place. I think
I will respectfully disagree. It's pure eye candy for me.
I mean, it looks great. I'm just saying, if we're going by if just being more authentic to it.
Yeah,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I've had this for God knows how long, but I don't think he needs it. But it does add to it. I'll give you that.
Well, if you think about it, in Hollywood right now, how do we make this more manly? Kratos, put a beard on him.
Pikachu, put a beard on him.
Billy Butcher,
put a
beard on him.
Put a beard on it.
Yeah,
It's like
okay.
that Portlandia sketch. It's put a beard on it.
Yeah,
Pamela Anderson, let's put a beard on her. I mean, what?
Maybe not.
Pamela Anderson, let's make her relevant again for some reason.
All right. Yeah, season 2, like I said, it brings us back to the war on the Seven and the big corporation that created the Seven, Vought Enterprises. This series actually, this season brings out the fact that superheroes are made; they're not born. And all the ramifications behind it. There is a lot of the same old faces we saw. Some of the actions from the previous season have ramifications here. In insanity and their standing within the world. And is it just me, or is Giancarlo Esposito the center of every conspiracy in the universe, from Star Wars to...
I just said that to a buddy today.
He's on Far Cry now.
Yeah, Hollywood's gonna make him the bad guy for the rest of his career, and I feel bad for him though.
Yeah.
I feel bad for him though.
He knew exactly what he was doing when he went into it with Breaking Bad.
I get that. He was so good in Breaking Bad, but unfortunately, that's all people are just going to see him now as. And he's a very talented actor. He's got an extensive background. So, in one regard, I'm glad that he's getting so much work. It's just a little disheartening that it's only as the villain. It's cool, and I'm enjoying it.
He'd make a great dad.
And it's not only the villain. He is Gus in every single role. They actually have him play almost the same character in type and effect. So, Moff Gideon, Gus with a lightsaber.
Dark saber, sir.
Yes. Which is a form of lightsaber.
I mean, I know. I just wanted to be that guy for a second.
So my take on The Boys season 2 is, I think Stormfront being one gender swapped for the show and added into it, she is the perfect foil for Homelander. I think it was exactly what the show needed. I mean, not to mention just in the very beginning when they're already trying to do replacements and stuff for a certain character, and that one dude, it took everything great about the first season and just it amplified it too. Just turn that dial up to 11. Let's go from 10 to 11. And now we have just crazy batshit off the wall stuff. We've got the boys themselves, sometimes with Starlight, sometimes with not. And it's just a great, like, I can see this show going on for another couple seasons for sure. I'm not sure how Amazon, if they're like Netflix where they only do 3 and then they're like, well, now it's not new anymore, get rid of it.
Yep.
But if they kept us going for like 6 seasons, I can't see them ever slowing down. I think they could keep going because it's just basically a parody of, 1, all superheroes, and 2, American culture. And that corporatism that is so rampant in America now, the way they go with it, it's like literally looking at Black Mirror, the show, but in a really cool format. And that's what I think season 2 represents to me.
You brought up the fact that she's gender swapped.
Yeah.
It kind of, there was one thing about how they did the TV series that kind of upset me. In the comics, there is multiple teams of superheroes.
Yeah.
And
Teenage
Stormfront was
Kicks.
part of Paybacks.
Yeah.
And we don't have those different factions and different teams
Yeah,
that
like,
are vying for attention.
There's one part in the comics I wish they would have done already, and that was where they might do it in the 3rd season, but where Huey is on, I think, a Compound V, and he shoves his fist through one of the Teenage Kicks. Like, that would be really cool to see Huey do just a really badass moment.
Finally let loose his anger.
Yeah, just like right through. So I hope they get to that.
I didn't read the comics. I actually didn't. I went into the show completely blind. Both seasons essentially.
Okay.
So I didn't know that Stormfront had been gender swapped, and as someone who had no idea, I really enjoyed their dynamic. I feel like if Stormfront had continued to be a dude, I think it would have felt too much of the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, and if you think about it, Stormfront not only was gender swapped in the comic books, he was quite literally a Nazi.
Well,
yeah.
I mean
yeah.
It's quite literal. That's still there.
Yeah.
But like,
what was her name before? Actually, no, that's spoiler territory. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
But my take on it is, I enjoyed it. I liked the 1 week release schedule. I actually really enjoyed that.
It made it easy.
It did. I get overwhelmed sometimes with the amount of TV shows that are bingeable, and I get tired of it really quickly. I'm like, I watch 3 episodes in a row, and then I'm like, you know what, man, this. I'm done. I'll come back to it later, and then I never come back to it. Like certain shows, they hook you all the way through. And for me, the first season of The Boys, they released it all at once then too, didn't they?
It was episodic.
It was still episodic?
It was episodic.
Okay. Oh,
yeah.
I came to it late. That's what it was.
I came to it late too.
I came to it when it was all done, and I got I'd watch 2-3 episodes, and I'm like, all right, I gotta do something else for a little bit, But season 2 was intense. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the action scenes. I liked the big action moments. I loved the storyline behind it. I loved the jabs. Like the humor is so good. It's so dark. And it envelops me like a big black blanket, It's just makes me feel like I'm at home.
Yeah. No, the episodic weekly that you're talking about, I'm kind of glad a lot of your streaming services are actually doing that. You see it with CBS All Access with like the new shows like Discovery and Picard. You see it with Amazon with this. Remember Carnival Row? Oh, that was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
We actually covered that.
I didn't watch that one.
It was actually really good. Me and my wife watched it, and it was. He played Legolas as a detective, but that's besides the point. And then you see Mandalorian on Disney them doing these shows as episodic releases each week, which builds up the suspense, which makes the fans talk about it. It gives them time to talk about it, which is
Thank
important.
you. Yes, absolutely, dude.
Yeah.
Like
it creates its own hype.
Yeah.
I miss those water cooler moments where everyone gets to
Yeah.
steep in it for a week, where you're like,
Did you see that last episode of the blah blah blah?
Exactly.
Like The Walking Dead, back when I worked at Lim
Game of
Walker
Thrones.
Tree Service, when The Walking Dead was like just first coming out it was like on its third season. Like, dude, did you see that last Thursday or whatever? I think it was Sunday. I don't remember. And it was just like all the time, and I missed that a lot. And with this setting the setup they're doing now, it brings it back to that, so I can talk to people at work about it.
Well, and I think they're realizing that, because one of the things that helps push the fandom is the ability to theorize.
Yeah.
People throw up mad fan theories of this is what's going to happen, this is where it's going to go, and people go crazy with it. Like, I'm not going to spoil it, but the whole who is the Jedi that they call for Grogu? I'm not going to say who it was, but everyone had a list of people it could possibly be.
Yeah.
Really?
If
People
they
had
didn't,
lists?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
As Ezra Bridger, Sabine. It could have
Hey,
been.
You're just name dropping. Just don't risk it.
Yeah.
Don't risk it.
But it's a lot like how, if you remember when The Witcher released.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, I, of all people, could not stop hearing that song for 3 months because everyone tagged me in it like 3 times a day for the first 3 months. But if it
Didn't
weren't
they
for
release
that,
weekly?
it released all on one day. I binged the entire thing in 2 days, and if it weren't for that fact, like, I probably would have if they did it like the weekly release, I probably would have kept talking about it personally. Whereas as of recently, I haven't really talked about it, except for it's made a small resurgence now that they're filming season 2, and Henry Cavill injured himself when Cyberpunk came out. But I think the way The Boys is doing this is like the perfect way, because I stopped talking about The Witcher even though I was getting tagged in the damn song every day.
Going to your Witcher.
Like, yeah, it's just I've had the time to talk about The Boys every single week with either you, Nick, or various other people that I've gotten to watch this show. And season 2 blew me away, and it's just like I want more people. Like, I got my dad hooked on it. He binged the entire thing.
Nice.
Well, I actually think a lot of the reason why people were tagging you with that is there was a time where you actually were doing pictures, and you posted one that you had just gotten a haircut and you looked like Henry Cavill.
Yeah, I know. And it doesn't help that my Facebook is my profile is literally just my face on Henry Cavill's body.
Nice.
So I get it, but
Nice.
No facial hair though.
Yeah.
No, but going into the spoiler part of this.
Yeah, let's do spoilers.
Yeah,
This is my fun
let's talk
part.
about it.
I
All
finally
right,
get to do this.
Warning. Spoiler alert. Warning. Spoiler alert. You have been warned.
What was
before we get started, gents? Can I offer anyone a Fresca?
Oh, I would love a Fresca. Not a Fanta though. I know you know that reference.
Fuck Fresca.
I love Fanta.
Not a sponsor.
I'm not either.
No, what was your guys' favorite part of this season?
Favorite part?
Yeah.
That's tough.
Dude.
I would say right now off the top of my head, my favorite part was the part where, so Kevin hasn't seen, my roommate Kevin has not seen, I know you know who he is, Nick, but Kevin has not seen The Boys. I had to pause it, wait till he went to, I was like, Kevin, you need to go to the room. I know what's about to happen. And just by me describing that, I know you know what I'm about to talk about. And that was literally where, so up until this point, Homelander has been seeing Doppelganger, who's been dressed up as what's-her-face, I can't remember, Madeline. And this time, he's like, what if I was you, basically? And, oh yeah, no, I was like, Kevin, you need to go. This will ruin this show for you. You gotta wait. Because, holy shit, I was like, no way they did this. That and my second favorite. I'm sorry, I don't mean to like take up this much time, but
Go
second
for it.
favorite is where Homelander and Stormfront just start shagging everywhere to the point where they're putting their fists through dudes' heads, and destroying property. It's great. I love that.
It really harkened back to that moment in season 1 when A-Train's girlfriend was
Yeah.
riding that dude's face and she crushed his
Yeah,
skull.
that was intense.
Which is really, dude, I love how they blend sex and violence in the
Yes.
show.
Right?
Like,
It's
because
so
they're
good.
and it's such an on the nose commentary. And I also my favorite part of the show, honestly, is all the digs at Disney. Like, they're not even hiding it. Like, I love it. They're just like, I also feel like it's the pot calling the kettle black, though.
Yeah.
Because it's Amazon Studios and being like, oh, aren't Disney a bunch of corporatists? And you're like, motherfucker, wait up.
Are.
So do you have a favorite scene?
Oh man, a favorite scene though.
Do I need to come back to you?
You're gonna have to come back to me, dude.
I could do this all day.
All right. I would have to say, hands down, my favorite scene. Let me set the scene for you.
Oh, sorry. I remembered.
Yeah.
Okay, it's when Joe, this is a major spoiler. It's when Homelander starts fucking lasering the crowd.
Yes.
I lost
Yes.
my
Forgot about that. That was the best.
oh my dude, I lost my at that moment. I was like, what
Yeah.
the is this?
I rewatched that part like 8 times. It was so cool.
And then when it reveals
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
We're in spoiler
We're in
territory.
spoiler time. It's fine.
Yes.
Spoiler territory. When
Yeah.
it shows that it was like a fantasy.
It's just
It was a
up
fantasy
here.
that he was seeing in
Like,
his
I
head.
get it though.
Dude,
I get it.
There's a reason Anthony Starr, people are talking about him.
I love him.
He knocks this fucking roll out of the park. He
yeah.
is not Kingdom Come Superman, but he is Black Suit Superman. He is the Superman that we have been wanting to see since the fucking Donner films, man.
Yeah.
We wanted Zack Snyder's Man of Steel to be this mother dark.
So,
Wanted it.
do you follow Tony Starr on Instagram?
No, I see the memes.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
I do now.
yeah, the Butcha Memes page, he's a regular commenter on because they make a lot of Homelander memes, but that's some of the best season 2 memes you can find are on there.
I have an amazing season 2 meme that I made. The Batman saying, "I am vengeance, I am the night, I am Batman." It's Homelander doing his thing on the gargoyle, and I have it captioned as, "I am justice, I am the night, I am coming."
Oh dear God.
I love that meme. I got like 12 upvotes on the VOT posting Reddit page, but I was so proud of it.
No, and I would have to actually say the scene that actually sticks in my mind, all those ones that you guys have said were phenomenal and they stick. But the one that will always stick in my head, they're trying to run and they're on boats and they're running away. And all of a sudden you see dolphins flopping out, sharks flopping out. And you're like, what the hell's going on? And the telekinetic guy's just throwing dolphins and throwing stuff back and forth. And then you see the deep rise out, riding on top of this whale like a majestic Aquaman. Like they're like, yeah, Aquaman, we could use whales. And then he pulls up in front of them to stop the escape. And then you're like, oh shit, they're in trouble. And then you see Billy Butcher just gun it.
Yeah.
And when they plow through the side of that whale.
Dude, I was dying when I saw that.
So funny. And then
it didn't stop that they're inside the whale.
And the thing is, because the show is so well written, they have that moment, that beautiful moment with Huey, where he's just like, this was like his moment where he's like, what the fuck have I gotten myself into?
Yeah.
All the shit he's experienced, this is the moment where he's like, what the fuck have I gotten myself into? And Mother's Milk comes in and fucking gets him up and like with this beautiful pep talk. I fucking didn't realize how much I loved the show until we started talking about it again.
Like, I forgot about a lot of this because it's been so long now, but God, I love this show.
Yeah.
It's so good.
So good.
So
It
this,
is.
oh, go ahead.
No,
I
no,
was
no.
gonna say,
You, by
and I
all
love
means.
the Seth Rogen cameos.
Yeah.
Like, he's the producer on the show, and I love that he puts himself in there just like as Seth Rogen. I'm like, go you, dude. You've reached that point in your career. Good for you.
Yep. I would say, and this is the part where the spoilers end for this. Let's give this.
Oh, can I say one more spoiler?
Yeah, go ahead.
How funny is it that I can't remember the actor's name, but that he's the one playing Lamplighter after playing Iceman in the X-Men films.
Oh,
Sean.
Sean
Ashmore. Yeah.
Yep.
He played Jimmy Olsen
playing
in quite a few seasons of Smallville back in the day.
Yep.
Was it him or was it his brother? Because he has a twin brother.
No, Sean Ashmore.
twins.
That's the name. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he played Jimmy Olsen. He played the Ice Boy, whatever, in the X-Men films.
Iceman.
Yeah. No, just to tag ending now that I'm back. Sorry, guys. Family duty calls to all our listeners that wondered what happened.
Well, welcome back. Welcome back.
Thank you. No, it's cool. I'm gonna have to listen through all this during edit, so it's whatever. But I had no intentions of not watching it, so I absolutely will be watching it regardless of what is talked about here today.
No, these spoilers probably just make you want to watch it more.
Oh, sure. And like the point, the thing that you guys talked about, not just a moment ago, but Homelander torching the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
The moment that feeling that you guys were experiencing in that moment, I'd like to recall another scene that I think may give me or did give me a similar feeling that you guys may have felt during this new one. Was the first time we've ever seen him take a life that boldly in that way, and even more so in the finale of season 1, when he literally beamed his eyes of death into the eyes of someone he considered a mother figure to him. Someone he was romantically in love with and also thought of as a mother, as twisted as his brain is. Like, watching him vape his eyes into her eyes and turning her into nothing but a skull corpse, I was like, oh my god, when I saw that.
Yeah.
And so I'm feeling a similar feeling, because it's like watching Superman kill innocent people in that in that moment. You're like, oh my god, we're watching like a Superman type character vape someone, and this is like if Superman were unlocked in Grand Theft Auto and this is what he would do in real life or something. It's nuts. And so I look forward to seeing that and seeing what my reaction is a second time watching him brutally kill innocent people. That'll be fun. Go ahead, Paul.
I have a question I would like to pose to everyone.
11 inches around.
I figured that much, but it's only 2 inches.
4 inches around.
Oh, easy. That seems unnatural. Stop.
But what I was gonna say, if you had a superpower, if they hit you with Compound V, and you got to like pick your superpower.
Oh no.
How would you use it evilly?
Oh.
How would you exploit it in a bad way?
Oh, I just had this conversation the other day.
Oh, nice.
So you're you're bypassing what the ability is. You just want to know if we could do something evilly, what ability would we use and how?
So what ability, how would we use it?
Yeah. What power would you want, and then how would you use it to be a bad guy while still being a good person?
No. Okay, in secret, because once you do what you're doing, you're not good anymore. You're dwelling in the enjoyment of the evil, are you not? Look at Ryan's fingers as they...
I'm evil. I'm already ready.
The power I would choose to make myself look like the good guy would be mind control.
Okay. And what evil task would you commit with your...
I would have other people do my bidding with my mind control, as I am raking in the dough and using my incredible fortune to set up the false pretense of fighting this with my money and gadgets.
You'd pretend to fight yourself. You would be the villain and the
All-
superhero.
All putting me into a place of power because not only because of love and respect and everything like that, because of everything I'm doing, philanthropy and all that. But yeah.
Oh, and all that.
Okay.
I'm curious about everyone else's response. Hold on, this got juicy. Ryan, I'm
Ryan?
putting you on the spot.
I'm ready. So, my superpower is not exactly original, but it is a straight rip from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, the anime. Huge fan, by the way. So Dio has the ability to stop time,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I would take.
Okay.
With full spatial manipulation, like he can move,
Mhm.
do everything, even though stopping time would literally freeze him too. But hey, I don't make the rules. This
Do
is
you
the power.
remember that
Well, it's
Hallmark
like- it's
show
like
or that
holding the-
Disney movie? Maybe you're referencing that, Paul, where the two teenagers get these wrist bracelets that make them move faster than
know
everyone else, so it's like
Clock
everything
stop.
is
Yeah.
frozen.
Yeah, I remember that.
You know that one?
Uh,
I
he's
fantasized
talking-
about so many
it's
horrible
more
things.
like-
So
Sorry.
It's more like when you have like a stopwatch that stops time, but because you hold the watch, you're
Yeah.
able to. It's your
yeah, so
Sorry.
basically,
yes.
I am the watch,
Yeah.
okay.
and I get to choose when and where.
Like Hero from
And-
Heroes.
Exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
So there'd be a lot of assassinations. I'm telling you right now, a lot of them, a lot of bank robberies, and then
You'd go full supervillain.
yes, no, like, and there'd be no like suspecting because I wouldn't even pretend to be a superhero.
There you go.
I'd just be like, nah,
No,
stop me,
wasn't me.
see what happens. If someone figured it out with Nick's mind reading and control and all that, if he figured me out, stop time. I'm coming for you, Nick. Or we're teaming up. You make people forget.
I think that's more important.
You
make
could
people forget they even caught me.
you could plan out what you need to who you need to assassinate with
But
his
by the
thought.
time I was done, I'd already be the dictator of a country. I would have taken over America a long time ago.
Paul, superpower. How?
Superpower, man. I posed a question and I didn't even really think about it.
Do we need to come back to you?
No. Okay. I'd have super strength, man. I would take like Hulk-like strength, and I would just beat the shit out of people that pissed me off. Like, honestly, dude, it's like, don't cross me.
Now,
Like,
question.
if you cross me enough times, like, what's up?
I have a counter question to that. You said Hulk-like
What's that?
strength. You didn't specify whose strength you'd have. Superman, there's a finite amount there, and it ends at some point, I'm sure. But you said Hulk strength, and as far as we know, theoretically, if we're getting super nerdy, geeky, it is all amplified based on your anger. The more anger he gets, the stronger he is. So, would
We
you
have a combo.
want that combination? Like, you're talking about revenge on people, so which is
Yeah,
fitting.
The three of us so far, we got a combo. I can make this happen. Nick's the perfect mind here.
Mhm.
He makes him angry with his mental powers. He makes people forget me.
And I just smash
Instant
shit.
anger.
Smash. It's
And
Yeah.
Paul just
we
smash.
are the. I mean, we're the seven. We're the four.
Yeah.
We're the four.
We
There we
don't
go.
know what Joe would choose.
I know.
It doesn't matter. He's part of us. he's the best.
I agree with you fully. I appreciate the inclusion, but maybe you should weigh out the options once you find out.
What if he chooses like he wants spaghetti to come out of his fingers and that's his power?
Then
Anyone ever
Time
watch
stop.
SNL?
People
Come
with
on, there's
celiac
always a
disease- People
way.
with celiac
Time
disease
stop.
are gonna be really in danger.
How about
He's
who's
just gonna be like, do you have a gluten tolerance? Spaghetti fingers.
Paul? Paul, you remember
What?
you remember whose line is it anyway?
I do.
You remember superpowers on the fly, given
Yes.
powers they'd have to figure it out? Yeah. You guys familiar with that? Drew Carey, not the British version and not the replacement. The old school 90s Drew Carey, whose line is it anyway? You guys know what I'm talking about, the superhero power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was
Wayne
a
Brady.
there was a super gluten at one point. You make a reference out of left field, but I've seen the skit with that, so no, I would not. No, pasta, not my
No
thing.
spaghetti fingers.
I'd eat the pasta, not create it to hurt others. That's not. No, it's not the best.
Pasta should never be created to hurt others.
Not the best ability I could think of. In fact, I'd want to
made with love.
feed. I'd want to feed everyone because everyone deserves pasta, unless they're backstabbing assholes. At which point, I would have to conjure up a very different ability. Now, bear with me. I will claim to have thought of this for a long time. I will claim to have thought of it since childhood. I will claim to be manipulatively disgusting by presenting this ability. But the irony behind that is the fact that every moment you are with me is conjured up on the fly based on my most instant whim. And what's cool about that is I don't need time. I don't need to manipulate. I don't even need to mind read. The thing is I have the power of persuasion, guys. That is so disgustingly unique and different.
That is a good one.
That's a great one.
That's good. See, you're the face. You're
So
the face of this A team.
Yeah.
Are you talking about like what was it, the Whisper from Umbrella Academy?
No, first off, shit, you could take my geek card on this one. I'm not caught up with Umbrella Academy, so I cannot.
Neither am I.
You and me together, dude. It's all good. We'll revisit that topic later, Nick. I know. I'm sorry, but
if you like The Boys and the way that this was, you would like Umbrella Academy. It's like they did the same treatment for the X-Men.
Nick.
Okay,
Nick,
that's all. That's all I need.
Yeah,
I'll check it out.
Yeah,
Nick,
I'll check it out.
We've reviewed it on our channel. I still haven't watched it, but Nick has talked about it before. The persuasion thing, though, it's complicated. It's kind of one of those things where
I'm a salesman. I get it.
it's kind of like the mind reading, but Nick never said anything about control. No, I guess he kind of
It's mind
did.
manipulation.
But mine's shit, man. We might be too similar. I don't know.
No.
I don't know. I thought Nick, did you say something?
Well, mind control is where you are making them do something. Persuasion is where you are
Getting them
Convincing
willingly
them
to
they want to do it.
convincing them that they want to do it. And at the end of it, with the mind control thing, they'll know, hey, I did this. I don't know why. I had no control over it. Persuasion, they'll be like, I wanted to do this. It's something I wanted to do. It was my action.
I believe.
It would be more hidden, technically.
Yeah. So
Technically, the mind control.
We make a good superhero team. Or villain. I mean, I'm not going to pretend to be a superhero. You guys can.
I would like to hear what you guys rate season 2 of The Boys.
Good conclusion right here. Let's hear it. 1 out of 10. I'm gonna mix things up, and I'm gonna throw it over to Ryan real quick since we just throw you out there on the spot. What's your rating for
I will
this?
say, and I'm going to give some reasoning before I give the actual number. I will say that there were certain parts of this season, while yes, it did turn it up to 11 for like an overall, I'm going to give it an 8.5. 8.5 out of 10, just because I think that the first season was more consistent just by how freaking insane it got, and it blew you away right away. Whereas this one, there's some more like lower points where it really got to see like the backdrop of what's going on in Vought and all this other stuff. And while it wasn't like insane to turn it up to 11, it was still interesting. So I'm gonna give it an 8.5. No, 9. I will give it a 9 out of 10. I loved this entire season.
High praise.
Loved it.
Hesitant, but overall admittant to the rating you gave it. Thank you, sir. Paul, I'll throw it over you to next.
I'm feeling like a solid, like a 7.5. I got a cat that would disagree with me. Kitty. Oh. I do like a 7.5 because it's still pretty good. I enjoyed a lot of it. Amazon shows just look a little cheap sometimes. And I feel like the whole the whole thing with the Deep feels about like, I don't know, like 6 years too late. Like it felt like, oh my god. Hi, please get down.
I would agree. I forgot about the Deeps part of that.
He knocked over my coffee mug. Good for him.
The Deep would probably, I'd knock it back to an 8.5 because of that. I forgot about that part.
I thought the part
snap.
where he was yeah.
Yeah. That's Jesus cat. Yeah, 7.5 because that B story is pretty damn forgettable.
Yeah,
Like
I mean, I literally forgot it existed.
Exactly.
So yeah, 8.5 for me now.
Yeah, the best thing about it is the memes.
Yeah.
I'll leave you guys' ratings where they're at. I'm only gonna point out, if it was that forgettable, sir, does it really affect the whole season? That's all I'm gonna say.
It's a pretty big part of the season of how often it comes up.
Mm-hmm.
It's a subplot.
Yeah, it's a big side plot.
Like I said, it feels like 7 years too late. Like it's not like, ooh, you're going after Scientology. South Park beat you to it by a lot of fucking years.
The way I looked at it is it was they were actually kind of doing that whole, you know how like when people mess up, they always go to what is it?
Oh, like how like when Tiger Woods was like, oh, I'm a sexaholic, and then he went to
rehab.
See, but again, that's still like 7 years too late. Like it's not very topical anymore, and it's like I know they're trying to probably say something about cancel culture and repercussions of that, but like it was a flat note in the season, and watching him like do what he did to himself. It was Patton Oswalt's cameo was okay. It's just
Okay. All right. You probably want my rating, don't you?
We'd like it.
All right. For this season, I'm going to give it a solid. Oh wait.
Oh, it went away.
9. Yeah. No, I'll give it a solid 9. I love the season. I actually thought they embraced the human side of it a little bit more, even with the superheroes. There was a lot more vulnerability with the superheroes this season than we had seen before. And where you thought it detracted from it, I actually liked the mental break he was going through, where he was actually going through that in the Patton Oswalt cameo. And I understood the way they were going with that. They were trying to tie it in. But I do understand where it could take away from it for some people. But for me, it kind of more cemented the idea that they're superheroes and they have faults. And they're trying to make that evident.
Yeah.
So I would still give it a solid 9. I loved it. I'm actually watching it for the third time, doing a third run through on it. It's actually playing in the background on my TV as we're doing this. It was really good, and I would guarantee anyone that watched it would enjoy it, unless you're squeamish about blood and sexual content and language and so if any of that bothers you, don't watch this. And this is not one to watch with your kids. And other than our ratings for those, they all seem very positive. I would like to actually give some hopes for next season. I'm actually really excited about. They announced a character that they're going to be adding. One called Soldier Boy is going to be played by none other than Jensen Ackles.
Dean Winchester.
Yeah, as you all know, this was the last season of Supernatural, and we were all kind of wondering where he was going to fall. And this will definitely be a turn for something different for him.
I'm excited.
I'm definitely excited to see where he's going to go with this. So all we have from before is Young and the Restless and
Red Hood.
Supernatural. Well, I mean live action.
Days of Our Lives.
That's what I meant. Days of Our Lives. It was either soap operas or
no. He had a movie, 10-Inch Hero, where he works at a sandwich shop.
Good Lord Almighty.
And he has a blue mohawk, and that's where I think he met his wife.
Oh,
yeah. Interesting movie.
Yeah.
It's I don't know if it'd be something in your taste, but he's in there and he has a blue mohawk and he looks super punk rock and it's really cool. And he has a kilt.
Ah.
There you go.
Yeah.
And anybody with a kilt can be trusted.
Yeah. I trust people with kilts. Bonnie Knees competition.
But yeah, no, I like where they went with it. I like where they have potential to go with it, and I'm really hoping they go into the side where they're actually taking the drug to give some of the boys some powers to fight
I
back.
want to see Huey put his fist through someone. I want it so bad. I don't even care if it's the same character in the comics. I just want to see Huey do it.
You heard it here first, people. Ryan likes fisting.
I love fisting, especially fisting from the boys.
I love fisting boys.
I love fisting boys.
Is my favorite
Wow.
thing in
It
the
goes
world.
in and it comes out and it goes back in.
And
I actually would like to change my rating, not because of fisting boys, but because you brought up how season 2 brought out more of the humanity. There's some really beautiful moments for Homelander where you actually feel bad for this murderer.
Yeah,
and you can sympathize with him. Like he's got a lot of deep-seated issues.
Yeah.
Like he's got a lot of deep-seated issues, and like he's got father issues, and he really wants what's best for Ryan. I never once didn't believe that. I never thought that he was trying to manipulate Ryan or anything like that. Maybe that says more about me than anyone else.
Like I totally get what you mean. Like he was doing his best to try to be a dad. He wanted to have that normalcy. Like, look, I can do this. I can do anything. I'm Homelander. Just watch. I'm gonna succeed in this too.
Like that moment when Ryan is overwhelmed in the Planet Vought restaurant, and he like takes him and he holds him and he like takes him away from there. Like that was a really touching scene. And that's what, like, again, like with Nick, like with your favorite scene of them crashing into the whale, that's absolutely hilarious. But then it offers this real human moment for Huey to be like what he's feeling. And so I go from 7.5 to 8.5 because I felt
welcome to the club.
I felt emotions for these characters. Like I got choked up at one point even. So yeah, solid 8.5. Maybe even tipping towards 9, because if something can make me actually feel as well as deliver like the excitement, then it's worth it.
Yeah.
You know, there's that one scene with Mother's Milk when he loses his family because of his involvement in all this, and Huey's dad had to go away and all that other stuff, and it's just like you really feel for these characters, because it's like a lot of families out there know exactly what it's like to not have your parents around anymore, or just lose them or your family because of work circumstances, life, accidents. And to think that here's these like badasses going out there killing soups, and now they have to deal with this on top of all the shit they're dealing with.
Yep.
Yeah, and it sucks. I mean, it's great filmmaking, but it's rough. And I felt it when I saw that. I'm like, dude, after everything you worked for, just to have it taken away because of this.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, Homelander isn't a bad dad. He's not the first one to push their kid off the roof of their house.
Dude, I've done it 7 times.
It's Anthony Starr, dude. It's Anthony Starr. He, as an actor, just so talented, and you feel for him. You feel for him. All-powerful being, and you actually feel sorry for him at times.
Yeah, like you want him to emotionally mature better, but you know he can't.
Exactly. You want him to improve.
Yeah.
It's a good show, dude. It's good. It's well written. It's wonderfully performed. It's surprisingly well shot. You know.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like I said though, like who hasn't pushed their kid? I mean, you said it, Nick.
Yeah.
Who hasn't pushed their kid off the roof? I've done it so many times. Like I don't have my first 3 anymore. I'm on 4. He's
He doesn't
starting to
even,
get
he
on
just
my
keeps
nerves.
getting them from random places too. Like they're not even biologically his. He just goes to the grocery store, picks up a child, takes it home, throws it off his roof, and says, "Ah,
There's a pile
shucks,
in the
Tyke."
backyard. It's a 2-story house.
There you go.
There's your cutaway.
All right. And
Joseph, don't give me any ideas right now.
thank you, folks, for joining us for TV Talks. That concludes this segment. And we'll be moving on to Gaming Bits. All right. This segment of Gaming Bets, we're going to cover a very controversial game that has been a cock tease for over 8 years. And they have been teasing us since May of 2012 about this game releasing. We didn't see our first trailer till 2013, and our minds were blown that it was finally coming. And then radio silence for 7 years.
Mostly,
then,
yeah.
Then this year we got our hopes up thinking it was going to come out. What was it? 3 pushbacks?
It was supposed to come out
3
summer.
delays to the game.
Summer, then November, then December. Yeah.
Yep.
And then it came out.
Got delayed multiple times, and then it came out. And as it came out, we had the game came out with a bunch of praise and a bunch of criticism. Just like any other big title like this, there's bugs. It's like some of you haven't played Bethesda games on day one. But no.
But dude,
CD Projekt Red,
this is CD
Cyberpunk
Projekt Red. It's
2077.
not Bethesda. They don't. This doesn't happen.
Did you play Witcher 3 when it first came out?
I did.
To be fair, no.
Yeah.
To be fair, no.
I did.
I was a
Roach
blindsided.
would appear on houses. It still
The
does.
The horse was more versatile than the horse from Skyrim.
Yeah.
Real quick, just to add to your introduction, Nick, I would also preface this entire crazy release by the fact that it also experienced a lot of record-breaking numbers regarding a release. This had 8 million pre-orders before it came out. Yikes!
Oh yeah, 8 million pre-orders. Yeah, it's ridiculous amount of pre-orders. Everyone pre-ordered it from computer, PlayStation to Xbox.
I did.
PC.
It is also,
of course.
I said PC.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go on. Move on.
It's the first one I mentioned because Master Race.
Sorry, I know you. Yes, my bad.
PC Master Race.
I am on an island tonight for this topic, guys.
Yeah, but here is the thing. It also has had record complaints, and both Sony and Xbox are now giving back refunds for people that are asking for it. Sony has actually pulled it off the store. You cannot buy it right now on their digital download store.
Mm-hmm.
Now, people have played it, said they loved it. People have played it and said it's unplayable. It's half a dozen, give or take. I think it's a mixed bag, and it may be people are playing with older systems. People are playing bad connection. But there is a series of glitches and stuff that we will go over later. But right now, let's go into some questions for some people that have actually played it. Joe, what was your first impression on Cyberpunk 2077?
Okay, so thanks for the lead-in, Nick. I want to preface both mine and Ryan's explanations on our initial feedback by giving our listeners and viewers the deets on what and where we played it on so that there is good context for our individual experiences.
What system you played on?
An original 8-year-old Xbox One.
Nice.
Say what? Yeah, I know, guys. I know. One of the most most irate responses across the board, and same for Sony. Like it's equivalent to PS4, original PS4 and original Xbox One are where the heaviest amounts of frustration have laid. We'll get to that in a minute. I just wanted to preface that by laying out where we played these. And we'll get to the controversial parts in a little bit, because I've got some fun facts to lay out for that. So, as far as first hit experiences, honestly, it's on our YouTube channel. I know, shameless plug here, but I am doing a full walkthrough over the last 2 weeks. I think we have a total of 3, almost 4 hours of recorded gameplay on the channel, and I'm just about 5 hours in total of personal time with the game. Now, on an Xbox One original, I went into playing it on day one not knowing what was good or bad about it. I just jumped into it because I was excited to play it. I got access to do so and jumped in, and I'd say I've also heard mixed feelings about what parts of the game where it starts getting bad, because I know early demos and early parts of the game were not so rough, but the more further into the game you get, you will start seeing more of these bugs and stuff. So for my personal experience of 5 hours in, which not a spoiler warning, I just know that I got to the Cyberpunk logo thrown up on the screen, which is officially what I've heard is the end of the prologue to the main quest. And that's been confirmed across many reviewers. It's at least 4 to 5 hours in, depending on how long you take to get through the story. That's no side quest, guys. So the thing I will say, not to go too long-winded into this, is positives up front I would like to throw out is the story, the written narrative that you get to experience within that first 5 hours is very well done, very well laid out. The protagonist character. I played a male character. I've heard good things about the female lead, depending on which way you go, but the voice acting for that is good. It's great acting. It's unique from most RPGs where at least some of the more popular ones are either not narrated or it's just very short things, because it's trying to put you in the role, as opposed to like Mass Effect did a lot of your character Shepard was narrated, and in this case your Cyberpunk character is narrated. He is voice acted, I should say, rather, throughout the entire game, from what I know, and completely throughout the prologue that I've played. So story, voice acting, all of it is really good. All of it shockingly good, in my opinion. It pulls you in. It makes you care about the characters, the way the story is written. And so for that, I give high praise, and it's what's keeping me in this, regardless of all the controversy surrounding it. That's the positive. I would say more positive / little bit of negative here, which we'll get into more later, is just I've only experienced a small handful of bugs, just some frame rate drops, some mild character clipping, nothing crazy like what I've seen. If you guys go online and look for memes, it's all over the internet. It's a big deal for a lot of people, but for me, it's only been 3 or 4, even because I'm editing my playthrough too. I'm looking back through the footage of what I've recorded, and it's been very minimal on the buggy side of things. However, the frame rate is noticeable. I am playing on a last gen original Xbox One. This game was promoted as a current gen with the promise of upgrades for next gen. See, we haven't even gotten the next gen upgrades yet, and this is how much we're dealing with right now. So we'll get into that in a minute, but overall, yeah, my first impressions, it's fun, easy to get into, good story. Mechanically, my last point, and I'll throw it over to Ryan. I know a lot of complaints, and I know I'm gonna get a little bit from Ryan about this. I am interested and excited to hear his perspective on this, but the gunplay for me, I understand, is not spot on, especially in the first few hours of the game. But I also kind of took it with a grain of salt because I also we knew going in, especially if you read a lot of the developer notes on how the game was being portrayed as an RPG, is that a lot of your early guns are going to be weak. They're going to be missing. The accuracy is going to be horrific, and it's kind of like Morrowind or any of the Elder Scrolls games, where the more you use a weapon, it levels up, and then you can also add perks into your skill tree that eventually improve accuracy, handling. Also, later in the game, you will get more powerful guns that come stacked to the ribbons with good stats to begin with. And so it's what I will preface my perspective on the gunplay is that it was not meant to be a Halo or Call of Duty. I use both because I know we're going to have listeners that are going to be like, F Call of Duty or F Halo. Point is that Bungie and Treyarch, what's the big developer behind Call of Duty?
Activision.
Okay. Yeah, I know. So Activision's Call of Duty, Bungie now.
Treyarch is too.
Yeah, I know they're a subdivision, but so I wasn't wrong there. But now 343 Industries, which Microsoft owns and has running Halo, between those two franchises, they are meant to be first-person, high-yield, 60-frame FPS shooters. They're meant to have solid, firm gunplay. There is no leveling up when you get the pistol at the beginning of Halo. It's as good as you are, in other words. But in this game, it is jarring. I will say that it is jarring because I love first-person shooters. I've played Halo. I've played Call of Duties. I'm used to this game's as good as I am. So if I'm not good at it, then I'm gonna suck. And so, regardless, this Cyberpunk 2077 game is an RPG at its core, and I went into the gunplay knowing that. I noticed it's super messy. Enemies are bullet sponges. I also remember listening to the developers saying that's going to happen early on, and that the further into the game you get, the better weapons, yada yada. It's gonna feel more like a Destiny 2. It's probably never gonna feel like a Call of Duty, and I kind of have gone into it knowing that. The bugs are monumentous. Reddit is hilarious if you want to see some good memes. And here's the thing. My conclusion right now on First Takes is I've read a crap load of memes. I've laughed at every one of them because I've got a good sense of humor, but I am still addicted to this freaking game, and I'm going to hold out and stick around for CD Projekt Red and their promise, air quotes, promise that they are going to fix this game.
So how would you rate this game?
I'm sorry that was long-winded, Ryan, but because I know you've got
Okay.
you've got things to say too. I know you do.
I mean, I'm probably going to be a lot shorter because you kind of encompassed everything, so I don't really have to go into it.
And that's good, but I want you to express whatever counters you have to what I've said, obviously. So,
yeah, no, I absolutely, I will. Don't worry.
Nick, my rating, I gotta give this 2 ratings because it's an unfinished. I can't review this. I haven't played it 100% through. So what I do want to say is first impressions, feelings. My personal experience with only 5 hours in was not littered with as much frustration as I know many people have felt. So my personal firsthand experience with it as a physical game, I'm gonna put it at a 6. I don't rate things super low. I'm a very easy to please personality, but for me 6 is low. I consider 6 pretty low for the amount of expectation this game had. I put it at a between a 5 and 6 for the quality that I've been given. Granted, I also understand I'm on a first gen 8-year-old system. I didn't expect it to do that great anyway. My secondary rating for the story alone, where how much it's pulled me in, I'm pushing more towards an 8, and I'm holding out hope in the next 6 months to a year to come back and give this game a proper rating once they've fixed everything. And I'll re-review it once I have finished a playthrough, but right now I'm gonna give it a 6 overall. I would like to throw it over to Ryan now, and you give me whatever counters to all the stuff I've covered.
So what I would say is, as far as a RPG FPS game goes, I had kind of an unfair advantage. I don't know if you've ever played the tabletop game of Cyberpunk 2020.
We have some friends that that I know of, yes.
Yeah, I had a deep understanding of how the character built. So from the very get-go, I was already building basically what my character already is in Cyberpunk in real life. So I had an unfair advantage with pistols because I have not had any enemy that I don't just melt in a fucking couple seconds. Like, it's literally just point dead, point dead, point dead. Like, I'm done. Everything. I just melt things with that pistol I have. And I'm a klepto in that game, 100%. So I'm constantly cycling through guns. But I found this one gun that I got from Lizzie's bar, and it just burns people. Yeah, that thing melts people in the early game. So when you're playing it, wherever you are watching it, pick that. It's free. Take it. But I play on PC, and I'm not boasting some PC mustard race 3080 Ti. I'm on a 1060.
But
so I'm not doing much better than an Xbox One. But I will say it's a pretty polished game for me. There are times when rendering needs to really catch the fuck up, but it's not too bad for me. And every game, like Nick had said, every game is going to come out with some bugs. And I definitely expected that this was going to, with how ambitious they were trying to be. Night City is fucking massive.
Deep
and they did a really good job.
massive.
As far as...
No, sorry, that wasn't a
as
pun.
far as... No, you're fine. I have a dirty mind.
Hey, fair enough.
As far as getting that real emphasis on what Night City looks like, I think they fucking hit that out of the park. That is a 10 out of 10. That is what Night City should look like. And they even updated it more for like modern times, because original Cyberpunk was a 1980s thing.
Oh, but, from tabletop, yes. Right.
Yeah. So they did an excellent job of updating it for today's times. And it's kind of exactly how, because I mean, this is 57 years in the future from 2020, because the original Cyberpunk 2020 was this year. So this is like 57 years from now.
Isn't that nuts?
Right.
Guys, go watch Back to the Future. Remember what they thought? What year was it?
Cyberpunk got a lot right, though, in 2020 tabletop.
Yeah.
As for bugs I've experienced 3. I'll start off from the least annoying, and that is my favorite all-time character, Johnny Silverhand's cigarette will occasionally just stay floating.
Oh, nice.
And sometimes I'll look down a street and see a car off in the distance, and then I'll look down the another street, and then if I look back at that street, that car is suddenly, the same car will be like at the stoplight behind me, like it like just teleported.
Oh,
so object permanence.
Yeah. Nick had some points about that.
Yeah,
We'll
he
talk
had
about
brought
it.
that up, and I had talked to him about it. And finally, this is the funniest one. So I was doing a side quest, and actually it was a main quest, and I had to break through a window. And this happened on stream, my last Cyberpunk stream. I was breaking through a window, and it literally like yeet cannoned me 400 feet back.
Man,
And I was like,
I have not had the pleasure of getting launched yet, dude. I have not flown.
yeah, no, it didn't hurt me. I just flew back, and I was like, where am I? And yeah, so that's all I've experienced. I've had a real good time with the gunplay because I'm a pistol build, pure pistol and swords, and I put max in my critical, so I'm always doing headshots. It's just
Dude,
melting people like butter.
I need to get in on that. Have you had any melee interactions yet? Have you had any katana stuff?
I have a katana, and I cut up some bodybuilders like a hot knife through butter, chopping heads off.
Just for context, how much time behind the wheel have you gotten on the game?
About 17, 18 hours in.
Dude, okay. I haven't come across a blade yet, so I'm only 5 hours.
Oh.
I'm only 5 hours in.
Oh yeah, you're on Xbox One, so you don't get. So people who got it on PC got. You might still be able to redeem it, but there's a little bundle package that you get, and it's a Witcher jacket, a katana, and something else.
Okay, well, fair enough. It's not about the console I'm playing on; it's the fact that I'm account sharing with someone that I have access to this game. So I don't. There was no. I know. There wasn't any special bundle for me. I'm just happy to be able to
go
play
to Japantown. You'll find it.
All right.
You'll find a ton of katanas there.
Hey, to contrast this, well, first off, I want to cover the small handful of bugs I saw, but what's your rating? Nick is wondering too.
Sorry,
for your first
as
time
far
experience.
as far as the aesthetic goes, that's a 10. But gameplay, I would give it a 7.5. It could be improved. It should be improved, but it is still enjoyable on PC anyway.
And you're on PC, and that's the trending fact we've learned from all of this is that even you're boasting a slightly lower system than like the next gen game card, but
I have the minimum requirements.
But the irony here is that
for the PC.
I know, but the irony is that PC players have had the least amount of these bugs. It seems like it was optimized on PC when they designed it. They claimed it was current gen, meaning current gen was several years ago when they claimed it was going to run, and then they promised next gen improvements after this year. They said it wasn't going to happen on launch. Launch was for next gen console launch was December. PS5, Xbox Series X and S, those were supposed to be our next gen consoles. And they said that was going to come later. They never said it was going to be ready on launch. So here we are playing our last gen's crap, and we're like, the CD Projekt Red? What'd you give us?
And I'm still doing just fine.
No, dude, here's the thing. I know you pointed out there were massive problems with The Witcher 3 when it first came out.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I wasn't here on
Technically speaking, they're still an indie developer. They're not actually.
They're not
technically.
Rockstar.
They weren't a big company when The Witcher 3 came out. They were an indie developer.
Yeah.
And The Witcher 3 came out, and it really blew them on the scene. Like The Witcher 2 was big, but The Witcher 3 was mountainous.
Another thing people don't understand is, there was a big thing that came out about them talking about developer burnout because they implemented mandatory 6-day work weeks.
Okay, that is a fact. I have 3 articles on Google Docs right here. It says CD Projekt Red and all its heat. That was the first one. We got Cyberpunk devs are angry. angry because they're getting the shaft and they were put into crunch. 6-day weeks. They were mandatory required to meet the deadline. Then we got Microsoft not pulling Cyberpunk from the online store while Sony is. And CD Projekt Red officials claim, the bosses at CDPR claim that they made a deal with Sony that they will, air quotes, I'm putting air quotes here, temporarily remove the game from the PS Online store until customer satisfaction can be met with a future update or product. Meaning Sony's like, we don't want to keep selling a piece of crap to our consumers. Good for you. On the side note, Microsoft has stepped in here and said they promise to refund anyone that is pissed off, but they're also going to keep it on their store and available because CD Projekt Red is promising that no matter the cost, I will pull up the tweet and post it right here on our screen. Boom, right here. I'm paraphrasing, not quoting, but CD Projekt Red bosses, officials said they promise no matter the cost, they are going to fix the game because right now the game in its disarray is not as important as their company's reputation. And the only way they can fix their reputation is by making this game the game they promised everyone.
And I hope they do, because as of right now, their stocks have dropped 22%.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go buy a bunch of CD Projekt Red stocks.
That's one. That's
right now.
One
do it now.
That's $1.8. What was it? $1 billion. $1.8 billion drop in their prices. The crazy thing about that is, in 2 days, they made the cost of what it cost them to make the game.
Yeah.
From all the pre-release and everything.
Yeah.
No, I'll give one final parting thing. When you do get it, this isn't necessarily for you guys, but whoever's watching this, when you do get it, just understand that, there was a lot of work put into this game and a lot of developers that were not ready to put it out. And honestly, they probably would have pushed it back again if it weren't for the fact that they were getting death threats and hate mail and nonstop angry fans. So this is more a lesson of not giving in to the online bullying that had caused them to release it earlier. They should have just pushed it back again. I'm not going to lie. As much as that would have sucked, I would have understood if a game was pushed back just so it'd be better quality for people on like a lower end PC or Xbox One. It's something we have to deal with as gamers. Like, you can't be putting out games that aren't finished.
And that's the consensus, dude, is people are just saying it's a great game, but it's unfinished.
Yeah, it just needs like 6 months more tweaking time, and it would have been a fucking banger. But that's all for me, guys, and I really appreciate you having me on.
All right, dude. We'll see you in the outro. Guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to episode 98. We've only got one more, and then we're on episode 100. So, that being said, I just want to kind of put all the plugs out there for anyone that liked what they saw here. Anyone that's been on tonight that you'd like to hear more from. We've got a few different sources to go to. All the links will be in the description below on YouTube. But for those not listening, or for those not watching, rather, on YouTube, and you're only listening into the podcast form, I implore all of you to go check out nerdentialsmedia.com for all of this stuff as well. But I'm going to throw it over to Paul real quick. Paul, what do you want to plug tonight before we close out?
Well, first off, I just want to say thank you so much for having me on here. It was good talking with all of you. Ryan, you're a very, very funny, intelligent, handsome fella. So it's lovely to meet you. Nick, I love your face every single time I see it. I just want to pinch your cheeks like my aunt used to do to me. And then Joe, what can I say?
Times. Good times.
You're hot.
Oh, shit. I don't know how to handle that, but
You're hot, man. You're with it. You're cool. You're with it,
Paul.
man. You're hot.
It's been good times, and you have always been my personal teddy bear over the years. Sorry, Nick.
Putin.
Sorry, I
Take that,
didn't
Nick.
mean to let
Take
that.
that.
Sorry, Nick. I'm so sorry. I did not mean to let that slip.
Okay, don't worry.
You didn't hear
He
that,
had
Nick?
to know at some point. He needed to know at some point.
If Matt hears,
I'm
he's going to
honored
learn
that he
too.
takes my place when I'm not there.
It's true. As this was a lot of fun for me. If your followers and your listeners out there want to follow me on anything, I do have some social media. It's on Twitter. I'm at Scary Good Movies. I'm trying to see if I.
Scary.
You see that right there?
There it is.
Scary Good Movies. You can find me on Instagram. I mostly do Instagram. I like taking pictures and posting pictures on there of like horror and movie collections and stuff. I stream sporadically on Twitch, just like weird shit that I find on YouTube. So it's a lot of fun for me. The sex, violence, not safe for work, 18 up. Sometimes a booby pops in there. I'm sorry, it's like the clips that I'm watching, it's like kill compilations for movies.
Yeah.
Kill compilations for movies.
We got it.
I'm not watching like Live Leaks videos, okay?
He's
that.
not sharing snuff films.
Exactly. But yeah, find me on Twitter at Scary Good Movies. Find me on Instagram at Scary Good Movies. Follow me on Facebook. Eventually I'll be rolling out a podcast here within the coming months where we're going to be talking about movies, where we're going to talk about a different horror movie every week. I'm going to have a revolving door guests. Hopefully I can get some of you fine folks on there at some point.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, that's what I'm plugging. That's what I'm doing. It was a wonderful, wonderful night for me. Words to live by, words to die by, and now I say bye-bye.
Is that your signature goodbye?
I just came up with that.
Well, Paul,
10 out of 10.
I would like to extend from the Nerdentials family that you started here. There's always an open seat here for you.
I'll take that open seat.
Always. So, guys, everything at Scary Good Movies. That sums a lot of it up. Next plug, Ryan. What's going on at the end of this?
This is the end.
Yeah.
My only friend.
Oh.
The end. So I just wanted to say thank you guys for having me on. Like, I've been looking forward to this for quite a few months now. Just been thinking about coming on here and hanging out with you guys, shooting the proverbial word I'm not going to say.
It's been great, though. Yeah.
It's been fantastic. I've loved having you guys and absolutely loved listening to Paul talk about movies. That was right up here.
Aww.
Right up here.
Right up here. Anyway, you guys can find me, dear listeners, at twitch.tv/Kuhn And also, you can find me on Instagram as Kuhn And on Twitter, I am the Lost Viking 93. So
all links down
you can
below.
Find me at any of those.
Look for the links, guys.
All links down below. Thank you guys for hanging out, listening to us talk about nerdy stuff.
And hopefully we can have you on the show again.
I would love it.
Absolutely. We've got a rotating chair every week now, so regardless, I'm gonna put out the feelers for whoever's available on any given week. So I'll be shooting it out to all you guys on any given week. Just throwing that out there. If we end up with 5 guys in one night, why not? Who knows? We'll see.
Whoa.
No, that was not a weird reference.
My days back in New York.
There was no reference there, guys. It was just literally my tongue spitting out facts. We do have a Matthew Johnson, rest in peace. Kidding, he's not gone. Still there. We miss you, dude. Please come back soon. So that's why
Baby, come back.
That's what I mean. There may be more than four voices at some point. Who knows? We'll see how it goes. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. You know what? We got this one little traditional thing. Paul, you remember this? You remember the little send-off that we do here?
I didn't remember us cutting off Nick for anything he wanted to say in his goodbyes.
Because he's part of the Nerdentials, damn it. I already plugged everything.
Okay, sorry.
They know my Twitter by now. They know where to find me.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
No,
okay.
Paul, no, fair
looking
enough.
out
No,
for the
Paul,
guy.
I'm so sorry. No, thank you. Appreciate it. Nick, see how sweet Paul is? No, like, there's nothing wrong with what you just said. It's just like over the last, I don't know, 2 years or since you and Jeff have been gone, we started streamlining it to me just plugging 2 or 3 things, and it included the whole crew. But because you are both like an old school returning person and Ryan's a guest, that's why, and you guys have different things going on outside of what we're doing. That's why I was having you guys plug stuff. Right now, Nick's a hardworking stiff, and he comes on once a week when he can to the podcast. That's the truth.
The stiffest hard worker I've ever met.
Stiffest.
But if you want to catch me, I spend a lot of time on Destiny. So if you see Thanatos DB87 on Xbox, go ahead and hit me up on there. I'll play with you.
Usually he's rocking with the Brayhan, Dr. Brayhan to be exact. Also his gamer tag. Yeah, so thank you, Paul. I will put that in there and cut out my shenanigans. I was just informing you that usually I don't have any other extensions after this, but the closeout, do you remember that? On the other side? Come on now.
Oh.
The old-timey Jeff Berry never said it at the same time ever. And he'd be in the same room as us, too. Asshole.
I know. And we'll see you on the other side.
Yep, that one.
Okay.
And he made it a thing, so we never got it in sync ever.
It's true.
So we're going to take it on the other side?
So, yeah, Jeff said that. We'll see.
So are we gonna do an other side thing? I do too.
We'll take you to the danger zone.
No, so here's the closer. So as always, nerds, we'll see you
Other
on the
side.
other
On
side. Oh, as messy as I ever expected it to be. Thank you, Paul.
You're welcome.
So I can't blame or
he
credit.
Did it. He was on.
Oh no, he was. All of us said on the other side, and then you just said the other side.